Sorry about that. A little bit of a false dawn now. Hopefully we can get Dave on shortly. I think it's the joys of using different types of equipment for Instagram. In this case, phones, iPads, PCs, laptops, God knows what else. I think we did have an issue before with young Christian down in Australia, who certainly had problems joining as well. So let me just try and see if I can add both Dan and Dave. Right, Dan is on, so we're halfway there.
I've messaged him.
Dave is now watching.
Yep. He's watching. I've asked him if he's got his phone with Instagram on it to see if...
Fingers crossed.
That's one thing I've never done, looked at Instagram on anything other than my phone.
Yeah, same here. Well, I've got this on, well, I say that, I've got doing this on my iPad tonight, which is
nice.
a new way of doing things. Hence the reason I've got the microphone all linked up and stuff like that, because it don't link up to my iPhone presently. So I've added Dave in. If you are watching, on the bottom left, bottom right of the screen, like I said, there's a little camera with a plus on. If you press that, that will come up as an invite, and then we can add you in that way. So there might be an alternative way of getting you in there, but apologies for this. This is the joys of Instagram, unfortunately. Oh, there is a little red button at the bottom, I think.
Is he in?
Well, I've pressed accept, so fingers crossed. Just waiting for a little square to pop up. Oh, yes.
Hey, hold on.
Oh,
We're
yes.
there.
Yes.
We got there.
We made it.
Honestly.
I've got my beautiful camera set up, my microphone.
Look,
Okay,
we have no idea why it did it before, Dave. We have no idea the logic behind it, unfortunately.
We've got a friend in Australia. He's Australia, isn't he? That's San Christian. Yeah. He tried doing it from his computer once, and it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So, oh no,
Australia. That's a different.
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Oh, first of all, look, Dave, thank you for joining us tonight. Honestly, it's a real privilege to have you on. It really is.
I think I had to plug in my phone.
And now trying to get it to stand up.
Yeah, whatever.
With the charger in the bottom.
Oh,
let's get going
now. Brilliant. Now, thanks, Dave, for joining. Honestly, it's a real honour to have you on tonight. I will hand over to Dan, as Dan has done all the legwork on this, and like for anybody who's watched before, it's usually me sort of running the show and not really just letting everything sort of just happen in the moment. So I'm going to sit back a little bit tonight and be able to watch.
Well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. If I was ever going to get a guest on, it was always going to be something to do with the US Navy and Top Gun. So, and
thanks, man. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hey, I see Mitch is on. I recognize a name there.
What's that? Who we got? What joined?
Let's see. We would call him Andervoot. V+9. He's a pilot who lives in the Netherlands. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What? Has just joined the video?
Yeah. Well, he's watching.
Oh, fantastic. Now, you see, we do have quite a few our followers on our Instagram. We have, I think you've only just started following our Instagram page, haven't you? But we've got, what are we up to now? We're up to nearly 15,000, I believe.
Yeah, about 14, I think it was. I think at the height of COVID was 15.
Previously, in the past, we've had on Cabo, haven't we? F-22, F-22 display pilot. So we've had on quite a few different people. So it's nice to have. Thank you ever so much for joining, especially obviously with your history and also as well, you've obviously got a keen interest in models, which we'll get on to.
Okay, you want me to tell you about?
But do you want
to plane back down?
For anybody who doesn't know who you are, it's like I said to you on messages. It's a pretty chilled out chat. We don't take things too seriously at all. We never have. We probably never will either. So, do you want to just let anybody who doesn't know who you are just explain name, what you've done in the past, give a brief explanation of your history?
Sure. I was my name is Dave Baranek, and my call sign was Bio. And I loved airplanes from the time I was around 10 years old. And so I wanted to be a fighter pilot. But my eyesight went bad, so I couldn't be a pilot. So this was when I was in college, around 1975, when I started college. So I'm going like, well, heck, what can I do? And some guys, if they couldn't be a pilot, they didn't want to be in aviation. But for me, I'm going, well, I don't want to do anything else. So the F14 was brand new. I saw that the guys in the back seat were wearing glasses. So I set my goal as becoming an F-14 backseater, radar intercept officer. So it's still being a RIO. I mean, I'm not a fighter pilot. The Navy did not train us to fly, but being a RIO is still challenging and competitive. But I loved it. I mean, and like, you know, almost everybody else that I know, it's just what you want to do. If you don't love it, then you know you can do something else. The Navy doesn't want people there that don't, you know, that aren't committed.
No, I can imagine.
So in my first, so I joined my first squadron in 1981. That's how I got my call sign Bio. When we showed up, the new guys, they said, "Hey, do you guys have call signs?" And see, different groups do this differently. I've talked to Air Force guys, and they say, you know, there's a call sign ceremony and all this stuff. And when I showed up you know, it changes over time. So when I showed up, though, they asked us, and so I had been thinking ahead, and so I thought, Baranek, my last name, Baranek, that rhymes with bionic. Mm-hmm. And this was not, exactly. This was 1981 that we'd had the $6 Million Man TV show. Everybody knew the term bionic. So I go, oh, that'll be kind of, you know, clever. And you know, my contemporaries, some of them wanted to be called Killer, and some of them wanted to be called Shark and stuff like that, you know. But, you know, when you're an ensign or even a Lieutenant JG, a new guy in a squadron, they're not going to call you some cool name. So this pilot I was flying with, you know, I was very skinny. I was tall and skinny, and bionic did not sound good on the radio. So he shortened it to Bio, and that's what stuck.
Like it.
So I go, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot worse call signs.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've listened to a few podcasts, fighter pilot podcasts and stuff like that, and I've heard some stories of the horrible ways they've got their call signs.
Oh yeah, and you know, some of them are just mean. Some of them are naughty. You know, nowadays they use a lot of acronyms. You know, so anyway. So I was in my first squadron 3.5 years, and while I was there, I went through Top Gun as a student, the Top Gun class as a student, and then I got invited back as an instructor. So I became a Top Gun instructor in 1984.
Awesome.
And I did the standard tour 2.5 years. When I became an instructor, there were 16 Top Gun instructors. Roughly 16, maybe 17, and 4 of them were RIOs. So 25% were backseaters. And you know, I didn't keep track of it over the years. I don't know. There are still Wizzo and pilot instructors. So you know, which is one good thing about the Navy. The Navy has taken care of backseaters very well since, you know, the 1960s, since the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And I think the Air Force is on that program, has been for years also. But in the early years, I don't know if the Air Force did or not, but I don't really know. I can't talk, you know, I don't have personal experience. I don't have much personal experience with the Air Force. I'm certainly not going to badmouth them. So, you know, there's no payoff there. So.
No, absolutely. No, I mean, just mental. I mean, I don't want to sound bad, but I mean, Mark, what year were you born, Mark?
1980.
You're 1980.
December 1980.
Yeah,
not to make you feel old there, Dave, of course.
No,
but,
sorry. So
he wasn't in his dad's testicles at this point.
No,
so
at that point, no.
he's merely a child in comparison.
You know, You can't help when you're born.
I know, but I must admit, I feel with the current, especially
Dan,
with
Dan,
our
Dan, what year
age,
were you born? Dan, what year were you born?
91.
91 and 98. Okay, got it. Go ahead then.
Yeah, no, I missed out on quite a lot. I mean, I think we had. Oh, I think the last time Tomcats, and there will always be somebody who will correct me, but I think there's a photo of me at Yeovilton in '94 with Tomcats in the background.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think they displayed though, did they? I think they were just there on static.
No, they were there on static. But I remember my dad used to save the days of Mildenhall in the
Yeah,
80s.
I've been there, and that was it. You know, my dad. Sorry, Dave, to jump in. My dad was an ex-weapons technician on Canberras and Victors in the 70s. So I was brought up with the Air Force in my blood. Unfortunately, the Air Force wasn't in my back when I went for my examination. But you know, and like you said, you know, I only wanted you to fly. I didn't want to do anything other than fly, and I guess I probably missed out a little bit on that. But
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to, because my dad worked for Shell post Air Force. They used to do a lot of the AVGAS runs and stuff like that, and we used to do Mildenhall every year. So I'm really lucky to go through the 80s. You know, so I was unfortunate at Mildenhall when what we call the vintage pair was the Meteor and Vampire collided. But I remember seeing Blackbird coming in through the rain, and I remember seeing Tomcats and Hercules galore, C-130s in formation. It was just,
Yeah.
you know, if there's one air show that I'd bring back, if Mr. Trump could be as kind as to have the air fete at Mildenhall, which was just out of this world. It made Riyadh look
Okay,
like a sideshow in reality.
Yeah.
you mentioned the Victor. You know, everybody loves Vulcan, right? You know, everybody loves a Vulcan. But I love the Victor.
Look at
I
that.
just-
There you go.
I just pulled this book out, which is from, you know, published in probably 1964 or something, and I still have it. I've had it for a long time, but I love the Victor.
Did you ever get refueled by a Victor at any point, Dave?
No, I got
in the
refueled
Middle East,
by VC-10s,
Okay.
and I managed to take a few photos of that, but not really good photos. And those were the only British jets I get refueled by.
Did you come on many deployments over here?
This was in the Persian Gulf during Operation Southern Watch.
Okay.
So it was when Mark was just being born, and Dan, you were a young man.
I was 10. I was 1980, Dave. So I remember the Gulf relatively well.
This was 97, 98 when I was over there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Victor had been retired, and I think it retired in '92. I think just after the Gulf War. That and the Buccaneer went pretty soon after the first, after Desert Storm.
Well, see, when I was a kid, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, and the Ark Royal came to Naval Station Mayport, and my dad took me and one or two of my brothers on there, and so I remember seeing the
Phantoms.
Well, I remember the Buccaneer.
Oh boy!
It was so cool. I don't think there were any Sea Vixens on it. I think they were gone. Which I like the Sea Vixen also.
It's huge. It's huge big for a carrier aircraft.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to fly it especially as a radar operator, because the guy sat in the pit with that little thing over his head. The Tomcat was so good for a backseater. You know, we had the big bubble canopy, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
I think, what was the other two-seaters? What other two-seaters around in the Navy at that point, Dave? When you joined in '75?
Wait a minute. What?
What other two-seaters were around?
Well, the Navy had quite a few possible jobs for naval flight officers, NFOs. One was the A6 Intruder.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Another was the EA6B Prowler, which looks like the you know what the A6 it's electronic warfare. Then the S3 Viking.
Yep.
The P3, the E2 Hawkeye, and probably a few others that I'm forgetting. But I still remember, and actually I put this in one of my books. there's a chart that showed all of the possible career paths. Actually, when I was going through Pensacola, they could have still sent me to Phantoms when I graduated in 1980, and they had just finished sending guys to RA-5C Vigilantes.
That was about Vigilante,
It's a beautiful airplane, but again, another one I like to look at, but I wouldn't want to fly it. So
no, it's quite big lump that is. Big lump of airplane.
Yeah, but it's sleek and fast. It's fast as hell. It was. I mean, there's a great book that where they talked about trying to some Navy guys came up with a plan to win the mail air race, the daily mail air race or whatever, the New York to London air race.
Yeah.
And they were going to have a Vigi, and they were going to use like 3 tankers or however many they needed. And so they took this brand new Vigilante because the Navy had made some of them in the early 60s. They stopped production. Then they lost some during the Vietnam War, so they restarted production. So they made brand new Vigis in the late 60s. And these guys were going to take a brand new one with no external pods or anything, and they were going to put new engines that were tuned up. They were not set for longevity and stability and everything. They were set for max power. And they said when they tested this thing, it got to like Mach 2.5 or something. And so they're going out there. I mean, they did a test flight, and then the admirals heard about it, and they go, no, we're not doing that. So they killed the whole program.
Scrubbed it. Oh, no way. Yeah. That would have been a weapon on the. Yeah, no, love that. I mean, the F14, the Tomcat. I think you did all right, didn't you? You got to love the Tomcat.
Yeah. I think that yes. See, that's one reason I'm thankful that I was born in 1958, because I was in, there's only a span of years where you could fly Tomcats as a backseater.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously being, sorry, pardon my lack of knowledge. Top Gun was after Final Countdown?
Oh yeah, Final Countdown came out when I was going through F14.
1980.
Yeah, it was
around 1980 Final Countdown.
Yeah, that was early.
80 or 81. And I watched that just a couple of years ago, and that's still a pretty good movie. I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good film. So you watched that before going on to Tomcat.
Right. And then Top Gun came out in 86.
Talk to us about Top Gun. Give us some infill on Top Gun. Obviously, you won't be able to say too much, but
I can tell you, I don't have any bad stories. I mean, I did like a 20-minute interview with a big magazine publisher a few years ago. Excuse me. And at the end, they asked me a question, and it was a sensational, salacious question. I go, no, I don't have that. And so they didn't even do the interview. So I don't have any. Well, I don't have any salacious information.
No.
Okay, so Top Gun was based on a magazine article that came out, I think, 1983. I got the original article recreated on my website on topgunbio.com. We put the original article on there. And then a couple of movie producers in Hollywood saw the article, and they were inspired by the photos that were taken by Heater Heatley, who was a Tomcat pilot and also a former Top Gun instructor. And so they were inspired by this, and so they spent 2 years doing the groundwork, getting prepared, getting Navy approval, and then they showed up at the Top Gun squadron in 1985 to start, final planning, and then to start filming a few months later. And I still remember when this was all going on, I can't speak for the other instructors, but I'm thinking like, whatever, it's not a big deal. I mean, really, for a couple of reasons. I mean, one, I was busy as hell being a Top Gun instructor and loving it.
Yeah.
Even the stress of giving lectures and just all the other stuff. it was just rewarding to work with this group of overachievers and to go fly these ACM flights and all this. I mean, it's just great. So they filmed this movie, and then it was amusing. You know, it's entertaining to be involved in that.
Yeah.
And then the movie came out in 1986, and it was the #1 movie of the year in the United States. It's the highest grossing movie. So I mean, it's got a million flaws and problems, and there's, you know, bunches of websites where they identify all those, but it's like, okay, it's a movie. And because many instructors told the director, Tony Scott, we said, Tony, this isn't realistic. This isn't realistic. I mean, I told him that myself.
Yeah.
And he goes, Bio, we're not making a documentary. And he threw in a couple of F words in there. I don't know what your audience is used to, but he goes,
I won't worry too much.
So,
I always remember watching. I think it was a documentary. I can't remember where I saw it, but it wasn't up until they finished and pretty much completed the film, and somebody said, "Look, during these flying scenes where they've got Maverick and Iceman and stuff like that, there's no talking." Nobody was originally talking in them scenes, and somebody said, "No, there's always talking. You've got to have some sort of like." Do you know what I mean?
That was the kind of thing that did come out in the final stages, and I think John Semken, who had been a F-14 pilot and had gone through the Top Gun class, he was the main Navy liaison officer for the movie, and he made a lot of suggestions like that, like you got to have talking, and if they wear their masks they can say whatever they want and you can edit it and you can't tell. And but several other guys, you know, Heater contributed dialogue, a couple other people say they contributed dialogue, and also but John Semken and I went up to Hollywood for 2 days. We helped them to splice the film together, and we came up with Pilot and Rio dialogue, and that was at least, you know, part of the contribution to the dialogue for the movie. Plus, it was interesting as hell to spend 2 days hanging out at Paramount Studios. Hollywood. Again, it didn't really. I didn't expect anything, and I didn't think, wow, we're going to be famous. I mean, I didn't even think that.
No.
But it was just amusing, as, you know,
good fun.
27-year-old guy to go up to Hollywood and look at a movie studio, you know.
And you played a massive part in history as well, Dave, because I guess you helped create the naval aviators of the future as well with that, because from a PR point of view, what an amazing PR thing for the US Navy, to have that film go absolutely ballistic. Obviously, it made a massive star of Tom Cruise as well, but for me, it's like, as a kid, you know, there's two things I think of as a kid, and Luke Skywalker, everyone wanted to be Luke Skywalker, and then everyone wanted to be Maverick. Well, I certainly wanted to be Maverick. He was one cool mofo, and, you know, just, you know, the lady on his arm, cruising along on a motorbike. That's what you want to be when you grow up when you're 6 or 7 watching that. But I still have vivid memories of just recording that on the old recorders, of course, and the old VHS, and just wearing the hell out of it and watching it over and over again. It was just, yeah, you're right. It's not, is it perfect? No. But my God, it is so good. And like I said, it for me, it just made me, it cemented my love of aircraft as well.
The real life experience was also very cool. You know, I mean, we used to have a lot of parties. Yeah. We went to baseball games and football games in San Diego. We had squadron parties and just, you know, and had our girlfriends and wives with us and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you jumping down. I'll probably get to it a little bit further down the line. But what did you think of Top Gun 2, Maverick? Have you watched it?
Yeah, I watched it. I had nothing to do with it, but I do know some guys who worked on it. I know several of the Navy guys that worked on it, and I think they did a great job because expectations were so high. They could have screwed it up. They could have dropped the ball, whatever. But I think they did a great job.
I'm going to say this, and at the time, I thought it was a better film when I watched it.
I don't know.
I love it. I actually love it. But so you go back to the classic. The original will always be the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know, in my eyes. But when I watched it, I walked out of the cinema feeling like a kid again, and just absolutely. I went back and see it 3 times, in fact. And I think they did such a good. And at the time, coming out of COVID, the industry was on its arse, wasn't it? And it absolutely re-elevated it back to that sort of level and got people interested in going back to the cinemas again. So they've taken an original product and brought it up to the modern standard. I thought absolutely brilliant. Really, really enjoyed it. And I hope they make a third, because I think you've got to have a trilogy. You can't take 2, can you? Even though Tom Cruise will be 82.
Well, we'll see. You know, we'll see where that talk about making a third goes. But when they showed the Tomcat in the second movie, I got chills. I go,
I think everyone did. Everyone did.
They kind of made fun of it with all the circuit breakers and everything, and Tomcat guys are going like, "Hey, man, that was our life," you know. And
and I bet you could still jump in there now and.
Just make sure the 7C8 is pulled, and 1A2 and all. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, it's amazing. So deviating away from the film, because the film is just a film. It's not real life. Real Top Gun. So you would have still been at Miramar?
Yes. The guys. Oh yeah, I mean just the name Miramar. To me that ranks up there with Shangri-La. Just a mythical place.
I just think it's just. I would love. I've never been to West Coast America. I've always been to Eastern New York and New Jersey, and I would love, and I'll keep on pushing the missus to come over to Miramar Air Show, and do all San Diego and stuff like that. I would love it.
Yeah, San Diego's a wonderful place to visit. So.
Yeah, I do fancy it. But did you mention parties earlier?
Oh, just a minute. I'm living in a condo. I live in a condo, and they're doing some concrete repairs. So every once in a while, you may hear like a drum. Yeah. So okay,
Yeah,
you just ask me something. What's up, Dan?
Parties, Miramar, Top Gun, real life Top Gun. Talk to us as much as you can. What sort of? Obviously, from a young. I was born 91, so 5 years after Top Gun, the film come out. I did watch it quite young. How true to life is the film, and is it as cool being a Top Gun instructor as what?
Well, that part was cool, yeah. But, everything about the film is pumped up and exaggerated.
Yeah.
And in my personal experience, that kind of blatant, puff chest rivalry and confrontation, I didn't see that or experience that. There is rivalry and stuff, but it's more subtle and... Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Just going back to the film, just for anybody watching live and our followers and stuff like that. What part? And obviously you weren't on screen. Were you on screen at all? Did you see you on screen?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think any current Top Gun instructors can be identified in the screen on screen. There one guy who's flying. Every once in a while, they show the MiG pilot. But I've looked at, they showed the guy's face because they had a camera. They had a camera in the front of the F5.
Yeah.
But I've looked, and I can't remember if that's Rat or Sex, because both of those guys flew the F5F with the camera in the front. But then there's a few people that are extras, visible in the scenes. And Heater is in there. He's a former Top Gun instructor. I think Flex DeStaffney, I think he's in a couple of scenes. And then other extras were real F-14 pilots and Rios, but they were RAG students at the time. So all the instructors got a chance to fly flights for the movies, but we all wore the same black flight suits, the same black helmets. They had visors down, and everything, so you can't tell who's who.
Who's who? Fair play. Fair play. But you were rear seat in MiG-28/F5F.
Right. I was rear seat in the MiG-28, and I think it's me in the scene where Maverick flips him the bird. I think I was in the back seat of that F5, but I can't be 100% sure. So
that's pretty.
Because I went up and we flew next to the Learjet, and they filmed that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But they filmed it on another flight also, I have to admit.
Oh, okay. Little insight there. Love it. Love it. So going back to Top Gun and real life Top Gun, just being an instructor, I'm guessing you've still got your patch.
Oh, heck yeah.
Never going to get rid of your patch. Is it as cool? You still go to reunions and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a year, they annually.
I mean, we do them every 5 years now, the big reunions. I mean, maybe there's a gathering more often, but I don't go to San Diego every year just to drink beer with these guys. But the last time I was at a reunion that was in 2024, so 2 years ago, and as we were sitting there at a big dinner, this one pilot who was there when I was there, he comes up to me, Bio. He goes, I'm glad I'm seeing you here. He goes, I think about this flight that we had every day. And it was a flight where things didn't go well. And I go, yep. I think the same thing, man. So, but we see these guys, and it was very demanding to be an instructor. You can say stressful, but it's just demanding. And when I think back, I mean, one of the reasons was some lectures were 1 hour long, some were 90 minutes, some were 2 hours. And you gave this lecture with 0 notes. And it had to be very accurate. It had to interact with other lectures in terms of you had to know what every slide was on the screen, and you didn't look at it because you can tell when somebody's looking at their slides, and a guy would not get through his lecture approval, called a murder board, if he was looking at his slides. So the standard was, that lecture,
Yeah.
So it's extremely hard to get to that level, but you're looking around, the other instructors, they've all done it. Everybody performs at that high level.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I mean, that's just the lecture. Then these guys are all ass-kicking fighter pilots. They're not English professors or proper. You guys aren't English professors, are you? I don't want to
I'd say probably furthest away from that. Yeah.
but everyone accepts this standard, of basic perfection. Yeah. And meanwhile, then they go out and strap on an F5 and kick ass, on students and stuff. But they teach the students while they're doing that. So the lecture preparation is difficult, and then the flying is also very controlled, precise. It's got to be valuable. So you have to pull lessons out of it, and just all kinds of. It's not joyriding, but it's fun as hell. Yeah. If you're going out there and even from a 1v1, 2v unknown, 4v unknown, it's just fun.
Yeah, I bet it was a right laugh, a proper, and something that I won't lie from. I kind of regret now not pushing more when I was younger, going into the forces. I'm too old now. My little lad, my 7-year-old, he's absolutely obsessed with anything aviation. But yeah, it is a regret of mine. We go spotting quite a bit now and stuff like that, watching the Typhoons in Lincolnshire and giving them a bit of an insight into it. But yeah, I would have loved to have been some part of something similar to that, but I don't think I don't think the RAF could get anywhere near Top Gun.
I mean, I don't know about right now, but I'll bet in the old days, or I mean, I'm sure the RAF could. You guys have a talent, a pool of talented pilots over there and good equipment.
Don't get me wrong. Like the talent we've got, I adore our Royal Air Force. I think they're fantastic.
Sure.
But in regards to, and I don't. Maybe it was, and I don't like resorting back to the film again. Maybe it was the film that glamorized her a little bit and gave an insight, and a wrong insight into it to a degree, of what it was like in parts. Do you know what I mean? So, no, I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'd have loved to have seen it in the flesh and been there. And I just think it's great. Great time to be alive, I suppose.
It was.
And be involved.
You can probably tell I'm messing with my phone because I just don't want I don't want to run out of a charge.
No,
anyway,
that's fine, mate. Yeah, no, it's fine. We'll move on to.
I was very thankful. I was very thankful that I was there at that right time. So
yeah, I can imagine. We'll move on to models. So obviously, predominantly we're a model page. Because both me and Mark made some terrible life choices. Mark made himself, broken, and I didn't. I chose not to go down the military route. We live aircraft through models. So, be it World War II, current. I've got a mad obsession with the Eurofighter at the minute, 172 scale, but also. The first theme that I collected was Top Gun and US Navy. So I mean, talk to us. What have you?
Do you guys visit the Hush Kit page? Do you know Hush Kit?
I know Hush Kit. Yeah, I follow him on Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Okay.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's good. Wait a minute, let me see if I can set this up so I don't have to hold it. I wrote an article or two for him, and so I became familiar with his page. Just a minute. Come on.
You take your time.
Yeah, that's something. Okay, this cable is for my camera, but I can take that down. Okay, close enough. And if it falls down, I'll stand it back up. Okay, the reason I'm doing that, okay, so check out Hush Kit because he talks about the Eurofighter and, all modern airplanes and stuff like that. He compares them, but he also talks about history. So it's good. I haven't seen it in a while, but a few years ago it was good. Okay, so one thing, do you guys do all models or
literally anything, absolutely anything. We look at anything really.
We sort of amalgamated it really. So we do a lot of, Dan does what we call code threes, which are basically reimaginations of existing diecasts, completely stripped down, repainted.
Yeah.
I'm more of a World War II buff, hence the reason the Mustang behind me, 78 Fighter Group. But I obviously grew up with modern fighter jets because my dad was obsessed with it and made me obsessed with it, funny enough. It's now cost me a bloody fortune.
When you talk about reimagined, are you talking about things like the RAF Tomcat and the?
We can do all sorts. So like code three. So
I love those what if pages. Yeah. There's people that have, like what if the U.S. Air Force bought the Lightning, or and they paint and they show lightning and whatever. So
yeah, I've seen a few of a Tomcat, like you just said, in RAF colours. And it's interesting to see, and they're still doing them now. Even the brands won a big diecast when it's Hobby Master. I don't know whether you've heard of them, but they are releasing quite a few what if schemes now. They've just done a F-22 Raptor in Japanese colour scheme. There you go. You see, is that your? I look like an F5.
We'll get to those in a second. So, Mark, what you were talking about diecast being stripped down and then repainted?
It's called a code 3. So you can do a code 1, which I think is a simple decal change. Code 2 is something in between, but code 3 is basically stripping it completely down and putting a new scheme onto it. And it could be a what if, but it could just be, for example, like the one behind me. I'm stripping down a current at the moment, a Twilight tier, which I will use to become Big Dick. which is one of the 78 fighter group based at Duxford. But yeah, Code 3 is basically just doing the process of a plastic kit, but without having to build the kit, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
got it.
it's you know, like he got me into airbrushing, and it was quite traumatic at first, to be honest with you. The airbrush took a few throws against the wall, but I've got the hang of it. I haven't done any for a few months now, so I need to do it. So one of the guys has just put on there, Andy Curtis, just said Sally B, which is obviously our beloved B-17 based at Duxford. Is his ultimate Code 3. I did one like that as well. So what we do is try and almost fill a gap in the market that's never been done. So Dan is like doing all sorts of crazy European Eurofighter Typhoon schemes at the moment. We've got another guy who runs a page of us, Gary, who is an absolute magician, and he's somehow become obsessed with the JASDF force at the moment, which is just chaotic. I mean, it's well above my level, but yeah, it's just it's a way of sort of bridging the gap. So when I was a kid, I used to build plastic kits, but dare I say, I painted them like Stevie Wonder, and they were literally caked on the old what's the type of paint called? Dan, help me out here. You know the little tins. What were they called? The Umbro tins.
The
enamel tins. There's all like really thick coated paints. I didn't have the patience for it. I really didn't, but I've now found the patience for it. I'm like a Buddhist monk with me airbrush now. But it took a little bit of time to get like it.
And some late night messages sent to and fro. Dan, this is doing this. I'm going to launch it through a window. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's.
But yeah, it's a good way of bridging the gap. I mean, our diecast collections are outrageous. I mean, mine lives unfortunately with my soon to be ex-wife in a proper man cave, you know. But hopefully my little boy will appreciate it when I'm dead and buried, but knowing him, he'd probably stick them all on eBay straight away.
I got morbid really quickly. Why did that?
Yeah, well, I know how my little boy works, so
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, there's obsessions, and I'm afraid diecast has become a very good obsession. It's better than gambling, I suppose.
I built plastic models when I was a teenager, and like you, I painted them like Stevie Wonder. I mean, I was thinking back.
You'll be using that term now. That is an Essex term, Dave. So you've been Essexified.
Okay, thank you. But I mean, I remember I also had imagination. I took an F-105 Thunder Chief, and I painted it red, white, and blue. Red front, white middle, and blue back. And I looked at it and I go, yeah, it didn't look that good, you know. But I go like, okay, I did that. But then I did an F-106. And I built it realistically like our local Air National Guard, because I love the 106. And so more recently, I mean, not recently, but as an adult, I was thinking about building models, and I go, you know, it's just a way to like express your passion or feed your passion or whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's why I used to draw airplanes too. I was average. And I stopped doing all these things when I became I just quit doing them. And partly because I don't have the patience, and I don't want to spend the time doing it. So instead of building models and drawing airplanes, I wrote my books. So that was like, you know, a way to relive my stuff. But let's talk about some models right now.
And anybody who doesn't have that book.
Oh, there you go. Top Gun Days. Yep.
Very, very, very good book.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, this one is, you know, I don't know what scale it is. Maybe it looks like around 1/48 or whatever. But this is a wood model that I got in the Philippines in 1980.
Wow,
the wings cool. And everybody in the squadrons used to get them. They made A6s, A7s, they made everything. And so I still have it.
Love that.
Then more recently,
148 Tomcat.
It's roughly 148. It's not perfectly accurate, but you know, it's decent.
Yeah.
But recently, I got this is a Century Wings F8.
Oh yeah.
Superb, beautiful models.
Yeah.
They've just gone under, unfortunately, Dave. They've just gone out of business. But the rumor on the block, hearing it first, is that Hobby Master have bought the toolings from Century Wings in order to produce them. So watch this space.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll release a few new a few new squadrons because that one tooling that wasn't used a great deal, I believe, compared to about they did a few Tomcats and their Blackbird. The
Oh
Blackbird
yeah.
needs a good remodel to get rid of that seam line, but yeah, that's lovely.
So I've got the F8 because that was my one of my favorite airplanes, or my favorite airplane over the years. Even though I couldn't be a pilot and I missed it by a few years. I saw some RF8s before I joined the fleet, but the regular F8 was retired. But then also I have a couple of these are Hobbymaster. I've got a black F5, and it's in VFC 13, which was an adversary squadron.
Yep, I know which one you mean.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I love that.
And then I also have a Top Gun F5F, and they're F models,
Yeah. Nice.
So
there is a guy actually who lingers on our page on Facebook, Dave, who does like replacement stands. He actually created a stand to do the MiG-28 and the Tomcat to actually stood like that in diecast.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if we mention it to him, he might be kind enough to be able to send you one if we can see if we can sort that, or we'll sort it out between us or whatever. But
see, I live in a condo and I don't have a lot of room, so I don't collect much, and that's why I only have just a few models these days. But I do have a couple of more interesting models to show you. Oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
The other thing I was going to say is if I don't believe I did have a quick look that Hobbymaster haven't released your the Tomcat that you'd been reading.
Next point.
When we do have a bit of a pull in regards to, which sounds mental saying it, when me and Mark started this page, we never thought we'd have any sort of, what's the word?
Influence?
Yeah, influence in regards to what diecast producers make. But since we had Cabo on, we pushed it a little bit from our side. They've now released his F-22 that he displayed in. So if you have any decent, and I'm sure you have, of your first F-14 that you had your name on the Rio on the back of the canopy, then I'm pretty sure that we'd be able to make a few emails and messages to see if we can get it released in diecast form.
And that'd be incredible.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know which airplane that was. I don't even remember. I mean, I do remember. I know what you're talking about, and there's a picture in the book. But I mean, this was the airplane that had my name on it when I was a squadron commander.
Okay, so that would be a good one.
This is well documented, and Hasegawa made a 172nd kit of it.
So if the decals already exist for it, has it got your? Yeah, so the decals already exist. Then Hobbymaster, leave it with us, and we'll see what we can do.
I mean, they contacted me and asked, and this was back in about 2002 or 2004 or something like that. Anyway, so and then they sent me a couple of models. Once they put it out.
Little bonus.
Okay, so let me show you these interesting ones.
I'm all up for interesting.
Have you guys seen this?
Oh, that's a cute. Is that Herpa?
This is a Herpa 1200.
Wow.
And I have a friend in Germany. I'm not going to mention his name, but he contacted them and got them to put this out.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so I gave them pictures, and they put my name on the box and stuff like that.
Well, look, William from Hobbymaster, I hope you're watching in a guise that we can't discover, but it just seems like a no-brainer.
There was a Tomcat that was ever going to sell. I mean, most F-14s sell, to be honest with you, but if there was ever a Tomcat that was going to sell, it would be Bio's. What else have you got here? You about to show something else?
Well, thanks. So when I give presentations, I usually, when I'm talking to a group of people live, I have 1/72 plastic models on sticks.
Yep.
And they're not real detailed, but one's an F-14 and one's a black F5, and just because sometimes I use them to make points. So I did I made some videos, and they're on YouTube under the title Tomcat Memories. And I felt occasionally that I would be explaining something, and 1/72nd was just too big working with the camera. So I tracked down some 1/44th F14s. And so I've got a couple of 144 F14s and an F5. And here's one of the 144. And it turns out that this was decals of my first squadron, VF-24.
Oh, awesome.
And then another F-14 was VF-211, which was my last squadron. So I've got 2 Tomcats and an F5 in 1/44th, and that's a good size for working on your desktop with a camera. But it's not die-cast. It's plastic. Wait a minute. I can't remember if I had to build this or not. I don't even remember.
Fantastic.
Well, you built it. You done a good job, that's for sure. It's not falling apart on the end of a stick, so you don't.
Well, the reason was I was probably drinking beer when I was doing it, so
That is the way I
happens to us all, doesn't it? Yeah.
I'm currently building a 1/48th Lancaster. I've got one sat on. Bear with me. See if I can reach it. I've got one sat on my table that I finished a few years ago now. I remember sending it to Mark. It's that big.
Wow.
Yeah.
They've just announced the 132 Vulcan, haven't they? Oh, sorry, 148 Vulcan.
148 Vulcan. That will be.
That would be.
If anything, I think that would be too. I think that's just.
Be about a metre long, I think, wouldn't it? Close to that.
I've got your MiG-28. The one that you.
Oh, there you go. Cool. The F, okay, yep. So the wait a minute, the 148th Vulcan, that was a 148th Lancaster?
The one, yes. And it's
Vulcan's going to be the same size, isn't it? Roughly.
Maybe bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah.
It'll be, I bet it'll be another quarter size on top. The Vulcan is ever so slightly bigger than the Lancaster. It'll be a monster. I'll tell you what, so I've got a 148th, you can't see it obviously, you got a 148th Lancaster there and a 172 Vulcan underneath it, and they're roughly the same size. So a 148th would be ridiculous. But with that, it'll be expensive.
Yeah. I mean, the Lancaster, just all that represents, all the human sacrifice and human sacrifice. But
there is something very special about it, Dave, like when you hear those 4 Merlins, and after a while, in this country, it's like an orchestra, and that's the only way to sort of put it. It's just the hairs on your back of your neck slowly go up, and like even now, I'll hear it and go. I mean, we was in a place called Felixstowe in Suffolk in the summer. I was seeing my friend, and we were sitting having dinner outside, and I was like a dog. My ears pricked up. I stood up, didn't say anything, and just run round the corner. And the second run, it come in over the top of us. And honestly, I was like a kid again, and it does that. It's just, but it's like you're right. Everything it represents, being the last of its kind on our side of the Atlantic, it's just majestic. And it's just
the total commitment to the mission and all the amazing.
Yeah. Have you ever had the experience of seeing one up close, running or? No, and that's well. I mean, you got the Canadian one, which is I'd say relatively close to you, but I mean it's thousands of miles away, but it's closer than one that we have at the moment. Anyhow, that's for sure. But it's something else. I mean, sorry to sort of deviate. Well, I was going to ask you actually: is there an aircraft from history that you'd wish you'd flown, but never had the opportunity to? But if it come up, you would bite someone's arm off for it.
Maybe the P-38 Lightning.
Good answer.
Incredible choice.
Very
two
good.
engines, 2 tails. I just, I would feel, but I've read a little bit about it, and I understand it's a, it's a devil for the pilot. I mean, it can be flown well, but you have to be careful because it can trick you.
Yeah.
The airplane from history that really most impresses me is the Grumman F6F Hellcat.
Oh, what a beautiful aircraft!
Well, but it's utilitarian. It's the thing about the reason that impresses me is that it's not a thing of beauty like the Mustang. You know, it looks like a tank with wings, but it did the job so well. That's why it impressed me. But I didn't say that if like, okay, what could you fly or what would you have if you could have one? Hellcat, people go, why'd you buy that? You know, because it's kind of a.
We were lucky. We had one over here for many years based at Duxford. It went to a guy called Rod Lewis over in Texas. I think it had quite a bit of a refurb over a place called Ezel Aviation, I think it was. It was there for a few years, but yeah, really well missed over here. I mean, nothing. We used to get what we call the Grumman Cats formation, where you get the Wildcat, Hellcat, Tiger Cat, all going up together, and that was something special. You know, like seeing those three, and of course the evolution from the little tubby Wildcat to the quite executive Hellcat to the sleek, powerful Tiger Cat. It was a great combination. But yeah, really missed. And same with Sidekick, we've only got Wildcats now over here. We've got two, but I say only. I mean, we're very lucky, really, with historic aviation in the UK.
Spitfires coming out of her ass.
Yeah, one or two. And of course, the Mustang as well, Dave. One of my favourite aircraft. We talk about films in the 80s that influenced us. Empire of the Sun was another one that. You know, you talk about hairs on the back of your neck. That slow-mo P-51 coming in at sort of.
This is part of my personality. I don't know where I get this from. The Mustang, undeniably beautiful, undeniably successful, similar to the Spitfire. You know, everybody says, "Oh, it's so beautiful. It was a great combat record and stuff." So I'm sitting there going, like, okay. I mean, I agree. You can't argue with that, but that's why that's not my favorite, because it's everybody's favorite. So I want to pick something different.
Yeah,
completely agree. And you've gone for the ugly duckling, but my God, it was a very effective ugly duckling, and it was a swan in disguise on it, and a unit of an aircraft. And again, you talk about planes landing on carriers. That couldn't have been an easy plane an aircraft to land on a carrier. Bumping up and down in the middle of the Pacific or the Atlantic.
Man, and those carriers were smaller back then, so they moved around more. But they trained carrier pilots by the thousands because that's what was required, you know. So, and how many carriers did you guys have in World War II? A few.
Yeah.
Well, we had more escort carriers, which were even smaller, wasn't it? So we had our main fleet, but then we had the escort carriers, which were like landing on a single road. Sea. Yeah. You know, I mean, you'd have to. I mean, without saying that you're in that case, Dave, but I think you've got to land an aircraft of any capacity onto a moving ship in a bumpy sea, sometimes at night.
At the dark.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be built a little bit different there.
Well, it was amazing. I mean, maybe I was either naive or whatever, trusting, but I felt pretty comfortable with my carrier landings. And I had an ejection early in my career.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
It was during the daytime. We landed, we caught the cable, and the cable wasn't set for the correct weight for our jet. So as soon as we caught it, it slowed us down. And then all the machinery just basically blew up, failed, and the cable just let go, just freely. At both ends, it separated at the same time. So it just paid out of all the machinery, and we rolled down the flight deck and pulled the cable behind us, and went over the side and ejected just as we got over the side of the at the end of the flight deck. And my pilot and I both survived. So that was nice.
It's funny enough you asked it. One of the things I really wanted to ask you, if it's okay, Dave, is that obviously there's massive highs and I guess there's massive lows doing the job you do as well. What would you say is the absolute moment that you were in the cockpit and you went, this is what it's all about? And what was the moment where you've gone, oh my God? So the absolute contrast.
Oh, well, when I felt the best was, I would have to say, way back when I was either in Top Gun or in my next squadron, VF2. I mean, probably most of my early days, I had a steady progression of good training, worked with good pilots, and I had I had ability as a Rio, and I took the job seriously, and so I was in any situation. I go, yeah, this is good. I was happy, and I did well. Later in my career, it was still good, but a lot had changed, and also I was out of the cockpit for a few years just based on my career progression, and so it was more challenging because a lot had changed. So it was still very rewarding, but it was harder than it was when I was younger. In terms of things going bad, I would guess it's if you're responsible for well, and this is for me. If I was responsible for leading a large strike, and you're having a coordinated strike, multiple airplanes from different squadrons, and there's issues, airplanes falling out, tankers falling out, whatever. For me, that was stressful dealing with all that. Some guys just seem to just, take it and, okay, got it, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I like things to work smoothly. So,
yeah.
A bad thing also, and this is just being very honest, was when you had an in-flight emergency and it lasted a while. And so you're sitting here. I didn't think, we're going to get killed, but I thought, we may have to eject, or, if we screw this up, something like that, make a mistake, do something stupid. And so you're dealing with this, that takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine.
Because it's serious. It's very serious. Aviation is serious. And and the other low is, and luckily I look back, I was never in a squadron where we had a fatal mishap while I was in the squadron. So I didn't have to deal with that.
That's good. Yeah, and that's good. I didn't want to get too deep with that, because I think that's, especially as a commander, losing one of your own must be one of the toughest things to deal with, having to talk to the family about it, and that I get the old Superman. Is it Superman or Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility, isn't it? I think it was the expression, and it's true. And when the responsibility comes, you do enjoy it less, because you're worrying about so much more than your own. You're not just worrying about what's happening in your cockpit. We're worrying about what's happening across the board, back on ship, and you can't switch off, can you? You even back down. I guess your brain is still having to keep churning. It must be so tiring as well, having all that responsibility. But also, like you said, so rewarding when it goes right as well, and seeing people come through the ranks who you've seen grow through their career path. That must be really rewarding as well.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And now, some of my so I got out at 20 years. I commanded a squadron. Then I had one more year after that, serving on an aircraft carrier staff. But I had already decided to get out, just because I got tired of the deployments and other stuff. But a fair number of my contemporaries continued on. Some made 1-star. Some commanded nuclear carriers, made multi-star admirals and stuff. And I go, good for them. They embrace the responsibility, the leadership. Several of them have written books about leadership and stuff like that. My books are more about, a junior officer or even a commander's view of just flying, being a Rio, and living the squadron life, stuff like that. So,
and I know I showed it earlier on, Top Gun Days. I'll give you a little plug. If anybody hasn't got the book, it is a very, very good read. It's up there with one of my favourite reads, I must admit.
We'll copy the Amazon link in as well, Dave. I think that's important. If anybody sees it, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or
we'll do, absolutely. What we'll do is we'll put your whole website into our link and anything like that.
Thanks.
Anything, send over a load of links that you want plugging in, and we'll chuck it all in. But it's I thoroughly enjoyed that. Yeah, I
No,
All right.
if you ever get over to the UK, Dave, we owe you a beer or 10.
absolutely. Yeah,
We're
if you
trying
do
not to
it,
get you arrested though, whilst in the UK, because that might not go down too well. But look, we owe you. Look, we're really privileged to have you on tonight and discuss this. And you know, you live the dream that we wish we'd lived, if that makes any sense. And no, but to hear it from your perspective, whether it's the Top Gun, whether it's through your career, you can tell by the way you talk about it and the passion you talk about it. It wasn't just a job; it was your life, and you enjoyed it.
You know, Mark, I felt very fortunate, and that's one reason why I wrote the books and why I enjoyed coming on a show like yours. And thank you for giving me an opportunity, but to share the passion with people and to yeah. Okay, good. I should think more.
No, honestly, Dave, it's like I said, you when you can talk to people about it, who just talk about it as being a job. And you can tell the enthusiasm, the love, the affection you had for that, and it's infectious, isn't it? It's absolutely infectious. And like I said, though, you're talking to two guys who'd wished they'd done, wanted to do it, for whatever reason, whether it's your back being buckled or whether you just didn't work hard enough at school, Dan.
No, to be fair, I got close with working on Warbirds.
You certainly did, mate. Look, you did. But
maybe next time around, you'll get your shot in the next universe.
Let's hope so.
Maybe one day. Bio, thanks ever so much, buddy.
Okay,
thank you very much, mate.
Dan, Mark, thanks for having me.
And
glad it all worked out.
I'll message you in regards to a load of links, and we'll try and get your model sorted.
Absolutely, we will. Thank you, Dave.
Top man.
Okay,
cheers, buddy.
Go and enjoy that sunshine by the looks of it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, looks nice there. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.